was your week? Did you stay at home? Did you wear your mask when you went out? Did you wear your gloves? Did you take your vitamins and your supplements, your antiviral supplements and your vitamins? I sure hope you're taking exceptional care of yourself, family. Yes, I do. Welcome. You know who it is. Angela Nirvana, your hostess with the mostest on the Friends of ADOS TV channel, bringing you those ADOS hot topics. And now, my square is the COVID-19 stimulus demand for Black descendants of American chattel slavery. Y'all know I've been busy, because y'all been busy right with me. This is a chance for everybody to be in the movement. Yes, it is. We need all hands on deck. Yes, we do. We need everybody to make my video go viral. You know the one. About 1,000 of you have seen it and counting. Yes, indeed. I thank you. I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. I thank you for the love of our people. God knows I love us Black. I love us strong. Yes, I do. We are the best ever. We are the strongest ever. We descend from some incredible ancestors who paved the way for us to overcome it all. You understand, family. Start your watch parties. Come on in. I'm waiting on you. Yes, I am. Today, I have an incredible show lined up for you. But before I bring up my exemplary guest, Antonia Edwards, followed by Dawad Gayazin, I cannot wait to thank you. I gotta thank you for making that video do what it do. Every time I go live, y'all know I create a watch party at least 2 to 3 times a day. And some of y'all come back and repeat to hear that letter in my commentary. I want to thank you for always supporting me, for riding and dying with me every time. You guys are, my brothers and sisters from another mister. Yes, you are. Because we got that chattel slavery that runs through our veins. That is what unites us, family. That is what makes us brothers and sisters. That is what makes us bond. We are one. American descendants of chattel slavery. American descendants of slavery. FBA, B1, Black family first. Yes, we are. What's up, Tamika Love? I see you, baby. Thank you for joining the live. I see you, Angel. Thank you, baby, for joining the live. Hey, beloved. I love y'all Black. I love y'all strong. I've not been able to sleep since concerned Black American citizens put that letter out. I've been on fire. Y'all better know that I don't know what's going to come from this, okay? But I'm going to tell you right now, to do nothing is to be complicit in nothing happening for ADOS. You understand what I'm telling you? And I thank you for every signature on that petition. Last time I checked, we were over 700 with about 250 shares and about 2,000 views. And guess what? Y'all know Angela Nirvana got a tall order. I'm trying to get the signatures to 500,000. Yes, I am. And let me tell you something. Not a day goes by that I don't tweet every member of the Congressional Black Caucus. They get a tweet from Angela Nirvana with that link. And in that link, the letter is attached, family. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That letter is attached at the bottom of my ass for that signature on that petition. And they are looking at that letter, family. Don't get it twisted. We've got 2.5 times more views of that letter and that petition than we do signatures. So don't tell me that they're not watching what we're doing. So they get a tweet from me daily. And Donald Trump has a copy of that petition. He's been tagged in the petition, which includes the letter. And I tweeted him once. But that CBC gets served every day because I am a little bit over them having these conference calls and making them about everybody but us. How does a call on prison reform become a call for white folks? How does that conversation change from ADOS to white folks is beyond me. So they playing at it. But I am there with the COVID-19 stimulus petition and demand letter like a steady drumbeat, okay? I am determined until somebody calls me or Dawn Page, who heads up Concerned Black American Citizens. Shout out to Dawn for putting in so much work. Shout out to Friends of ADOS for supporting CBAC in that extraordinary letter. We all put eyes on it and contributed in every way we could. I cannot allow my board to go unnoticed in all of the energy they spent to give birth to that beautiful CBAC letter. And I'm just grateful to each of you. Yes, I am. What's up, Phoebe? Welcome to the live. Our body, my faithful friend and brother. Thank you all for being my faithful brothers and sisters and joining the live. Okay, today I'm going to bring up ADOS New England's Antonia Edwards, an extraordinary woman in her own right. She's been a friend to the show. She's supported Friends of ADOS PAC. She is an ADOS advocate in all spaces. She's been on the show before, but now she comes to us with a very, I'm going to try not to cry, but it saddens me because I remember us talking about her Uncle Sonny being in the hospital with the COVID. And now he has made his transition. And I believe the hospital has been complicit. Yes, I said it. In why he is not with us today. I am so over them reporting on these numbers and not giving us the full information about the number of ADOS that had underlying conditions. I want to know the numbers of the ADOS that they turned away and how many times did they turn them away, because rumor has it that they weren't seeing ADOS in New York. This is where a lot of these stories are coming out of, but they're coming out throughout the country. That when ADOS, thank you, Phoebe, for your condolences. When ADOS, thank you, Albadi, for your condolences. When ADOS showed up the first time with symptoms, they were being told the first time, the second time, the third time, sometimes the fourth time, to come back to the hospital when they could no longer breathe. Family, I think we have a class action lawsuit against these hospitals and against the government, and that's forming right now as we speak in real time. Something is really remiss that you would send us home and we be told not to come back until we can no longer breathe. By then, it is too late, family. They're preparing the body bags for you at that point. And they won't give us the real numbers of the age of the ADOS that are dying. First of all, they won't even touch race. Why is it that you can tell us age, but you won't tell us race? Things that make you go, right, family? I think it's to keep us from rioting in these streets. And I think that number is grossly understated. We're dealing with a conservative number of 32% in the demand letter for the extra COVID stimulus for ADOS. But I've heard as low as 40% in some states and 70% in others. So if you take a weighted average of 32% and 70%, at least half of us are dying from COVID. How much of this could have been prevented had they diagnosed them with the COVID when they first came to the hospital, instead of waiting until their fifth visit to diagnose them with the COVID? So without further ado, because it may be a little lengthy show, we may go over an hour, family. I do have a second guest, and he's going to share about him and a family member overcoming the COVID by not going on the ventilators. Interesting. So I'm excited to bring up, Albadi says, a reporter asked the New Jersey governor the same question, and the panel said they aren't doing demographic data by race. But thank God for our Black mayors of our county of Essex on looking down the county. When Phoebe says, when coronavirus is over, it will be hell to pay. We can't forget at the polls how Democrats let us down. Phoebe, you are so right. I am hotter than fish grease, but I must bring up my illustrious guest to share what happened to Uncle Sonny. It breaks my heart to know so many of us, most of you are my family through the ADOS movement. And when I see you in my feed sharing about your loved ones, I sometimes don't even have the words. I just put my prayer hands in a heart or some type of emoji because it chokes me up to know that Republicans talk about euthanasia and our people, especially our elders, are being slammed by this COVID. Let me bring her up. The incredible, the beautiful lover of ADOS, Antonia Edwards. Stand by.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Mwah, mwah. How's everybody doing?
You know, we're
I
doing what
know.
ADOS does,
Yep.
keeping up,
Yep.
getting up, and keeping moving despite this terror that
Exactly.
has engulfed and is decimating our community.
Yes.
Without further ado, I want you to share with us what you feel compelled to share with my audience about what happened to Uncle Sonny. Thank you for being on the line.
No problem. I'm an advocate for the underdog. I've legislated for kids with disability, autism, intellectual disabilities. My son is autistic, and then I got into the adults arena, and I've always felt this way. My grandmother raised me to fight for our people, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. And it just so happens that I happen upon adults. Since you and I have had a rapport, it's been fight, 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 and then we were fighting for reparations. And then all of a sudden, this COVID virus comes in. And it's like, wow, they're trying to kill us now. So I jumped on the bandwagon. I've been very vigilant about monitoring it. I put everything on my page. So this really started in March. My uncle was in a nursing home. He did have, you know what I'm saying, pre-existing conditions. He had high blood pressure, diabetes. And he had with his diabetes, he would go into diabetic comas and goes into like a shock. He was living with my mom at the time, and I said, Mom, you really can't take care of him. So we agreed to put him in a nursing home. He's been there for almost 2 years. When this COVID virus pandemic came, they locked everybody down. We couldn't go see him. So we felt like a little alienated. But, we called every day. My mom's his healthcare proxy. She was very vigilant, me behind the scenes, guiding her. And all of a sudden, he got sick. And we're like, okay, well, how does he get sick? Because nobody's visiting him but staff. Nobody's there but staff. And so they wanted people from the outside not to come in so they wouldn't infect the patients, but it ended up being the staff. So he went into the hospital like a week ago. He had a fever. And so that's all it was at that time. He was at dialysis, so they transported him from dialysis center to the hospital. And then he was just maintaining, you're saying nothing really major, 2 liters of oxygen through the nasal cannula, no intubation. I kept asking them. They were like, no, there's no need to intubate, which I was happy for, because from what I understand, every time you intubate somebody, they really don't come out of it. So all of a sudden they called us one day and said, wow, his blood pressure is 70/40. His respiratory is 80. So we're giving him hydrocodone. We gave him. I'm like, you gave him what? So I said to my mom, I'm like, that's not approved by the FDA for COVID. Now, it is approved for malaria. I said, but Trump is the one who wants this medicine to be used as a treatment. And that's because he stockpiled on it. He got it from India. He's in a fight with India right now to pay them. I said, so he wants us to use his drug of choice, but presidents don't do that. They don't make those calls. I said, so what doctor is approving this? Don't give him that anymore. So we agreed. We talked to the doctors, and that was fine. Then all of a sudden, he just deteriorated within hours. I mean, we talked to them every morning at 6:30. I'm up at 5. My mom talks to me. She calls the hospital. Then we'll call back in the afternoon. So they said to us, well, we're going to put him in the ICU. He's not doing well. His breathing's off. Okay. Are you intubating him? They said no. I said, good. Okay. So that's good. They're not intubating him. Then all of a sudden we get a call back saying we had to give him pain medicine. And his oxygen's not really doing well. He's on 100% liters for oxygen. And I'm like, you gave him pain medicine for what? Now, there's 2 different things. When somebody says somebody's non-responsive, that means that their eyes aren't opening. They're not, responding to words, noise, whatever, sensations. So they said he's not non-responsive. He's just not responding completely. So that led me to believe that he had functionality. So when did he tell you he was in pain? Who decided to give him pain medicine? If his blood pressure is 70/40 and his oxygen level is 80, any pain medicine you would give him will slowly put him to sleep. And that's what they did. They slowly put him to sleep. He died within hours afterwards. So to me, they're just using us as guinea pigs. They're just testing stuff, and nothing really makes any sense. And so I come from a medical background. My family is very, very vigilant. We called, made sure everything was okay. And a couple of things I tested with the hospitals, because they have people in fear of going to the hospital to see their family members. And they're telling you not to come. They're telling you not to come because they don't want you to know what's going on. And I'm going to tell you, to be honest with you, I asked the doctors. I said, so can my mom and my aunt, come see my uncle? Because they're in Boston, where I'm from, and I'm in Connecticut. The doctor says, yeah, we have limited visitation. You can have 1 visit during hospitalization. But yeah, we can do that. But this is what I want to get this message out. We as Black people aren't asking any questions. We're not talking to the doctors. We're not holding them accountable. Once they say we can't visit, we don't call. If you call them and stay on them, they know that somebody behind the scenes is watching what they're doing, and you can hold them accountable. So the reason why I really wanted to push this video out is there are so many people who have family members that died and they never seen them again. And those are the ones that are going into the mass grave as being unclaimed, because they're not claiming the bodies, because they're so scared to go to the hospital, because that's what they've been fed. So out of this whole situation, my mom and my aunt were able to go see. They didn't feel comfortable, which is fine, but I wanted that option there, because I thought that, honestly, they weren't going to be able to see him again. So they were able to have that privilege awarded to them. However, when my uncle passed, I was like, well, Mom, who claims the body? We were never asked to. The hospital never asked anybody to come claim the body. How is that possible? So the funeral home went to go get the body. So then this is another game I want you guys to be aware of. The funeral home charged $9,000 for a funeral. So the line items were questionable to me. It was $4,800 for the funeral service to take him from the hospital, embalm him, dress him. Then the graveside service was $250, and then to open up the plot and everything was $3,000 and some change. So it came up to like $9,000. I'm like, what about the wake? Oh, that's a separate package. Okay, so you want us to pay $9,000 for a funeral, but you don't want us to see him? So nobody claimed the body. You want us to go straight to the grave and not have a small family viewing. How do we know who's in the casket? How? So the funeral homes are waking up as well too. So a lot of people aren't even getting to the point that we got at. I push for access. I push for the services. Okay, you only want 10 people. There's 3 siblings, my mother and my uncle and my aunt. Let them go. But for $9,000, somebody's going to see him and somebody's going to give him the proper burial. So those are my 2 things. I really want our people to stop being in fear of doctors, stop fearing that you can't ask questions, research a little bit, ask all those questions, because if you don't ask those questions, you don't really know what happened to your family member. I mean, they're not doing autopsies. They're just giving them whatever they want to in a hospital based on what they think is recommended. And it's sad. So again, they keep saying we have these pre-existing conditions. However, my uncle didn't die from any of those. He didn't die from high blood pressure. He didn't die from diabetes. And he didn't die from double renal failure. He died from COVID. And he died from COVID because it was induced, I feel. If the nursing home tested him and he was negative, but then he had a fever and they sent him over to the hospital, he only had a fever. So they were giving him antibiotics originally to take down the infection. Then they did a second COVID test and found out that he was positive. Okay, when did he start having difficulty respiratory issues? And then when they did, why did they give him pain medicine and hydrochloroquine? So none of that makes any sense to me. So if I'm medically informed and my family's constantly calling, checking up on him, and they did this to us, I can only imagine what they're doing to people that don't call or that don't know.
My problem with this is it appears he caught the COVID from a staff member.
Right, because right now all the nursing homes are flooded with dying elderly patients, and it's coming from outside. Look at the numbers of the nursing homes.
And if we are banned from visiting our loved ones, where could they be contracting it from if they test negative, are transported, and now they're positive? Is the right? Somebody in the hospital is carrying, and when you have these other maladies, it makes a COVID-19 playground, is my theory.
Right.
I'm having a problem with all of what you're sharing because I believe you're absolutely right. They keep us out of the hospitals in the name of keeping us safe. But now you can't keep an eye on what's happening with your loved ones. You're totally out of the equation. And for them to be administering drugs without
our permission,
his medical advocate, that is ground for a major lawsuit.
But that's what I want people to know.
For COVID that was recommended by a president who had investment in the drug.
Right. Not approved.
Consulting with the patient advocate. You did not call the family. You just administered the drug.
Right.
This is why the title of the show is They Are Killing Us.
Yep.
They're killing us.
But my biggest question, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sweetheart.
My biggest questions is anytime you have anybody in a hospital, they'll call, they'll say, this is the condition, we want to recommend this. You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about this drug? I mean, you just don't do that. And so the biggest key, you know what I'm saying, that shows in our situation, because again, I am medically versed. I worked in the ER for 25 years. I've seen it all, trauma patients, whatever. I've been in the billing department. I'm the one who codes it. I'm the one that gets it paid. So I know what I'm talking about. And I did this for like 25 years. So you can't administer a medicine that's not FDA approved. Who told you to do that? Number one. And then number two, you're telling me that this patient is non-responsive I'm saying not completely not responsive, but if you talk to him, he may open his eyes or whatever. Okay, that's some response. He's not catatonic. Who told you that he was in pain? What indication did he give you to let you know that he was in pain to give him a painkiller like a morphine?
Right. Oh my God. Well, I feel you have grounds for a lawsuit, and I feel we're going to have major grounds throughout the country for a lawsuit. Good morning. Thank you for fighting for us, Sug Smith says. Hey, Lincoln, good morning, my faithful brother from another mother. Thank you. Phoebe says, wow. Isaiah Turner says, how is any of this the Democrats' fault, though? Well, let me full stop there.
Okay, you do that one.
Okay. This is my humble opinion. I saw recently where Ayanna Presley was fighting, and I appreciate that of her. She was fighting for the numbers of us that have been impacted by the COVID, but they're not really talking about cause. This is my problem with all of them. This is my problem with the Democrats because we are their mule and have been for 54, 60 years, and that's not been to our advantage. It's just been a slower demise as a people to be associated with the Democratic Party. Like I mentioned on my show last week, I read the COVID-19 stimulus demand. Being a part of the Democratic Party is being in a gas chamber versus being a party to the Republican is like the guillotine. One's just a slower death. Neither party is helping to advance American descendants of chattel slavery. As a matter of fact, what's really problematic is that of 107 trillion household dollars, white folks share 100 trillion household dollars. Black folks share 3 trillion. And of that $3 trillion, 10% share 2.3 trillion, and 90% of us share 700 billion. And as a result, what's problematic with that is we are left to eat the cost of slavery, given that 10% of the Blacks in this country are Black immigrants. And let me say this while I'm on that. I have Black immigrant friends.
Right.
I love Black immigrants. Being pro-American descendant of chattel slavery is not pro-Trump, and it is not anti-immigrant.
Right.
Okay, so I need for everybody to understand who wants to make me out to be a hater of immigrants, stop telling those lies. I love allies. And if my Black immigrant friends can't understand my fight for my people, I am not going to apologize for advocating for American descendants of chattel slavery. If you're expecting me to do this multicultural, what is the word I'm looking for? What do you call
Coalition?
Yeah, that's not my fight. Now, if the Black immigrants want to start a fight for their discrimination in a country that they chose to come to after the 1965 Black Immigration Act, they are free to take up that fight. That is not my fight. Right. I believe that the challenge with why we are the legs of the table that everyone eats from in this country is because we've not been self-interested since the civil rights movement. This is why we share 700 billion, while 10%, mostly Black immigrants, have been able to come to this country and get all of the advantages due us under affirmative action. As have white women who have been the biggest benefactors of affirmative action. Immigrants have been able to come over here, many of them with money, many of them descend from slave traders. Many are the ones to sell us. They come from the lineage. They descend from slave traders. They descend
Mhm.
from Africans who sold us to the Europeans into slavery. So they come
Mhm.
over here with a wealth position. All they have to do is flatten blackness by claiming to be Black and African American. That gets them the Ivy League education from the institutions our ancestors built with their lives. I
Mhm.
will not apologize for
Right.
being exclusively on American descendants of chattel slavery. The gate is up. That
It
is
is.
my COVID stimulus 19 demand. Thank you, CBAC. Thank you for
Mhm.
ADOS. Thank you
Mhm.
for everyone that put their hands on that letter. That's my square right now because
Right.
nobody's listening to us about reparations. And I am asking each and every one of you to get in this movement. So back to why
Right. Please.
are complicit is because they're not addressing how we got here. We are not here because we had one too many 40 ounces. We are not here because we ate one too many Twinkies. And we're
Right.
not here because of church's chicken. Everyone indulges in drugs, alcohol, and tobacco. Everyone.
Every race.
But
Every
we
race.
are disproportionately dying from it. So stop this benign neglect belief that somehow we're just magically dying from the COVID without addressing the slavery, Jim Crow, and the accrued ongoing systemic racism, oppression, and disadvantage in the country our ancestors built with their lives. That is
Exactly.
why I am pissed with the Democrats. They are complicit. They are complicit. I apologize for screaming,
That's okay.
Antonia,
No, no,
but we
no. It's a really
stop being the mules because when
right.
we stand up, this game will be over. I am voting for American descendant of chattel slaves
Yeah.
for president and voting Democratic down ballot to protect the 41% of us who rely on government assistance by design.
Exactly.
And
And
I
Angela,
encourage every ADOX to do the same and for us to operate in solidarity. I'll take a breath so you can speak.
yeah.
And
And you know what's so funny? I love your passion. You know I'm passionate. You know what I'm saying? I'm just turning my passion into boots on the ground in the trenches. And I'm begging people to wake up. I'm begging people to see the signs. I mean, if they don't see this, I really don't know what to say to them. I really don't. We have been systematically discriminated, used as guinea pig, the Tuskegee experiment, slavery. I mean, what more do we need to see? So it's not about joining this clique adults. It's not about joining this clique, whatever. It's about making a positive impact. It's about doing something. We haven't done anything since the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. And our situation has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. So to me, I don't know what can wake people up more than dead bodies. And people aren't dying because of something of their own contrition. They're dying because of something that was used as mass destruction, a bioweapon against us.
yes.
So all the diseases, the diabetes, the high blood pressure, the cancers, white people have those too. All other races have them too.
Yes.
So that's not what kills people with COVID. They have those conditions. They may be a contributing factor, but the way that the Main Street media has it out there is that Black people have these predisposed conditions, and so that's why they're dying. No, that's not true. My uncle was sick, real sick. He couldn't even get kidney transplants. He was on dialysis, and he didn't die from any of those illnesses. I can't even say that he died from COVID. All I know that he had a temperature. They called us and told us that he had food in his lungs because his epiglottis wasn't working. So they got it out and they said that they can correct it, but they don't know if it would happen again. So what made him die? You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But they'll say COVID. And then COVID gets a $13,000 pay rate per day. So that's automatically, you know what I'm saying? an incentive for hospitals. So what I'm saying is that I know that I'm really passionate about everything I do. I mean, I'm really into it, and I kind of expect it of other people. And I know that people don't have the same passion and the same ambition I do. But right now, it's not even about reparations. We can deal with the reparation. It's about us dying daily. Daily. There's an agenda. I don't know what it is. I can tell you what my conspiracy theories are.
The face of the
But
earth.
there, I'm sorry, Angela?
To wipe us off the face of the earth, but go ahead.
In my video, I did a video, and I have resources that say that. But the bottom line is that you see it. It's not a conspiracy. It's not what somebody said. We see that Black people are dying at 70% to 90% higher than other races. Why is that? We're all quarantined. If we're all quarantined, how are we getting this disease? I have a son who basically is autistic, and he just moved into a community supported living place. They locked him down the first week he got there, which was March 10th. So far, one of the staff members tested positive. I got to worry about my son now. I see my son from the balcony. I drive over there. I have him come out and I wave and talk to him from the balcony. I'm not worried about him catching it because they have him on quarantine. I'm worried about staff members. And I just want to say this because I talked to my best friend this morning, Michelle. I won't mention her last name. And I said, I'm going to do an interview with Angela about the state, I'm saying the Black emergency, about the state of the COVID. Is there something that you want me to say on behalf of essential workers? Now, she is a unit coordinator, works on the floor. She's in a hospital. She said, Antonia, please tell people that nurses and unit coordinators, environmental service people are doing everything they can to keep it together. They're fighting to keep these people alive. Doctors are talking to them on the phone or video cam. The nurses, which I always knew and working in ER, are the team. They make it happen. She's saying that people are going into the break room, breaking down, not just as much about what they see on a daily basis, because that's where their heart is at, but they have to work. They're essential employees. They have to be there. Nurses, medical assistants, environmental services, transporters in a hospital, they're breaking down because they have family that's sick too. And they can't take care of their own family. Some have mothers or grandmothers in nursing homes that they can't even see. They have kids that they're worried about bringing this stuff home to their kids. So when you talk about this $25,000 hazard pay, it's only going to doctors and nurses. And then the hospitals that have paid it are paying it to doctors and nurses. So people like my best friend who risked her life to be a unit coordinator, she's not even being validated. Neither are the people that are cleaning the rooms every day to make sure that this virus doesn't spread in the hospital. These people are risking their lives for something that was maliciously planted across the country to get rid of people. So it's a twofold situation. You know what I'm saying? No, I didn't want my uncle to get it. No, I don't want my son to get it. But these are people that have to be at work. She told me they're given one mask per shift. That's new. They didn't have that before.
Let me read from the comments a little bit here.
Sure. No problem. It's crazy.
Okay, how's this? Marcella Snell says, "That is strange why they are not giving autopsies. They don't want us to know what they're really dying.
They don't want us to know.
Because they're killing us.
And they're also probably taking organs out. You don't get to see
organs.
Right. If you don't get to see your family member because you don't claim the person, they're not doing autopsies. So they go into the mass graves that the inmates are digging. If you do see if you do get to retrieve your family member, like they offered my mom and my aunt and myself, they wanted us to have the funeral home pick the body up, embalm him, dress him, and go straight to the graveside. So I'm just really logical on bottom line. What are you dressing him for if nobody's going to see him? How do we know that's him in the casket?
How do we know?
How do we know what you've done to them?
How do we know he's even dressed?
Thank you. But you're charging us for it.
$9,000. We can't even.
But you're charging us for this.
Isaiah.
That's my point.
I hope I'm saying Isaiah. I hope I'm saying your name right. That's what I'm saying. We have to be willing to sue these institutions. Phoebe says Democrats offered no remedy when coining the COVID stimulus. They are dead to me. I can't say that I blame her. There is no black and brown alliance from Phoebe. Phoebe says to preach. Yeah, I'm not going to apologize for being pro ADOS. Never. You will never get me to apologize for it.
Never.
I'm using my personality and my voice and my love of ADOS and my gift to Gab to be here ringing the alarm. And the COVID-19 stimulus is my square right now. Absolutely. They are getting that letter tweeted from me daily. Daily. The CBC gets to see my petition with the demand letter embedded in that petition daily. And Antonia has helped me by emailing of ADOS. PAC have actually paid for Black PR to send it to the press. Like, we're over here putting in work.
I email everybody.
Okay? I just need y'all to know that if it doesn't come to pass, it ain't because we're not working daily. It has become my second job. Right.
I emailed the NAACP.
Go ahead, Antonia.
I'm sorry. I emailed the NAACP. I email all my state and Congress people, Johanna Hayes, Brenda McGee, U.S. Congressman John Larson. I've done the CBC. I have emailed and tried to reach out to everybody. But let me just say something about Democrats or ADOS or non-ADOS Black leaders or politicians. Everybody's scared to say ADOS. They'll say the colored people or people of color. They'll say Black and brown, or they'll say Black and African American. Well, I don't want to be any of those. I want to be ADOS because that's who I am. I don't want to intermingle with other groups. I don't want to be with the Black and Puerto Rican coalition. I want my people who are a distinct group, ADOS, who are American descendants of slavery, to be recognized. And if I don't understand why they can't say the name, that's who we are. And I want to make sure it's clearly understood that we're not anti-immigration or whatever, immigrants, whatever, because I have a lot of friends from the islands. I grew up with all West Indian, Trinidadians, Barbadians, you know what I'm saying? I want them to understand that their lineage is totally different from mine.
And they should receive.
My mother was a child sharecropper. Her mother was a sharecropper along with my grandfather. Her mother was a slave. I'm the fourth generation. It wasn't that long ago.
Look at this.
My grandmother taught me everything. She had me travel back and forth through the tail end of Jim Crow. I seen the colored bathrooms, the colored fountains. So I pay homage to my grandmother. And I'm trying to explain to people, let us get our reparations for being chattel slavery and Jim Crow. When the Immigration Act came in 1964, 65, that's when you guys were allowed to come over by choice. We were already here. Let's build on your claims under the Black agenda. We're not leaving you out. But if you weren't a part of that chattel slavery, then you wouldn't be entitled to those reparations. That goes under the Black agenda, restorations.
Right, but it's
so all this division doesn't make any sense to me.
If I were in the islands, would I be entitled to, what is it called? CARICOM? What is it called?
CARICOM and NARCOM and COBRA.
And COBRA is trying to use our reparations to make everybody whole. I'm talking about if I'm in the islands, they've got to fight right now in the islands for their reparations. It's the same thing. They would not
Britain and England.
American descent of chattel slavery. They would not expect me to be able to collect the check from the Caribbean islands when my lineage did not suffer there under the boot of slavery.
Right, because their reparations claim is against England and Britain. Right, so they're getting their reparations.
what Sheila Jackson Lee wants to do is take the 17 trillion, which is a modest number that we are owed. We're
Right.
responsible for all of the wealth in this country.
Right.
It would not have been, had it not been for our ancestors' heinous chattel slave labor, the worst of its kind in the born world. So let's get that straight off the top.
We paved the way for everybody else to be here.
Right. So that's number one. But my thing is, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
My thing is that the seven, thank you, God. The thought was this: Sheila Jackson Lee wants to take the conservative number of 17 trillion that we are conservatively owed over multi-generations and reduce it to $100 billion to share with Black immigrants. Right. Because of what they suffered in terms of discrimination. Make it make sense that they are owed our reparations when they came over here in 65 and we've been here since 1619 before the country was even formed. Right. Make that make sense. And like I said, I couldn't go to the Caribbean islands and be entitled to what they're doing, what they're fighting for. That would not be my fight. Right. And what these immigrants need to do is be in support. But instead, you have these immigrants who are in high places like Joyanne Reed on the AM morning show talking against reparations. You got Roland Martin talking against reparations. Sheila Jackson Lee, all of them are immigrants. Kamala Harris, I'm not doing anything specifically for Black folks, no. And I won't let you free from prison because I need you to fight my fires as the slaves that you are. So there is no Black and Brown coalition, to Phoebe's point. Let me finish reading the comments. Isaiah says, at Phoebe, what remedy were they going to get for us with the Republican Senate and president? That doesn't make any sense. It's not even about a remedy. Just like Barack Obama could have said yes to reparations. We ain't asking them to come up with a remedy, but look at how hard Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez goes hard in the paint for her people. Right. For the public to see. Hell to the no, you're not going to pillage the storehouse and leave my people out. Where is our Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? I would venture to say that it's me. Okay? And I'm not on the floor, and I may get 1,000 views per week, which is why I need your help making myself go viral. Right. We got some people. We got Yvette Carnell. We got Antonio Moore. We've got several people. We've got people working in the background. That's not a person that's not putting their face on this, but their voice is on this, like my upcoming guest in just a short minute here. I'm going to fold him into the conversation to hear him. But the bottom line is, Isaiah, we did not need a Black president to just look like us and not do anything for us. I'm trying to make here.
I understand that. And let me just
tell you that is what we need from the Democrats. Where is our Alexandria? Where is Ayanna Pressley on the floor losing her shit, her cool about what's happening to our people? I saw an article, but how widespread is that article? Why isn't she on the floor screaming for us? Why are they having CDC calls about prison and listening to white tears on that CDC call and screening us so we can't get the real questions in there?
Questions out, right. That's so true.
CBC is complicit. The NAACP is complicit in this. They're all doing things for show. They're not really trying to have the real conversation, because if they were, they would have responded to Antonia's email. They would have responded to my Twitters. I've sent out the Twitters to the National Urban League, the National NLP. I have been putting in work in that Twitter space every day. Not one call. But we've got twice as many views over on that petition than we do signatures. So somebody's reading it. Right. I'm waiting until I get it to 500,000. I need your help, family. I need you to push that petition out to everybody you know. Let me let Antonia in before I bring on my guest.
And let me just say this though. You know what I'm saying? I know Angela says, where's our AOC? Right now, we don't even need a leader. We need to be active. We see what's going on. I mean, so it's like we're waiting for somebody to save us, and that's kind of ridiculous. Okay.
Well, let me speak to that. That's not true.
I'm sorry?
That's not all the way true.
Well, we have, no, let me say something. We have leaders or people who have educated us, like Yvette and Antone. We have you, we have Dawn. I take my hats off to Dawn. She put 1,000% work into her letter. We're still not moving. So there's no Martin Luther King or Obama that's going to save us. We have to basically get educated and get out there and fight for ourselves.
And I need
the hardest thing to do is to get us to unite.
Antonia, people are fighting. You don't understand that right now we are on house arrest due to the COVID. But there are people that are organizing all throughout the country to rally more people to support this movement and to put in work. I know the ADOS movement out of Chicago has been up.
Oh yeah, Chicago.
To their state, and they have knocked on the doors of legislation and senators and all kind of people, and they're having a serious conversations. They have actually had a forum, a candidates forum that was major success for them. I know of ADOS Sacramento putting in work. That Chris Lodgson is doing major things.
I'm not talking about the people that are already established before the COVID virus. I'm talking about the people that weren't established before the COVID virus and still aren't established. I'm not talking Chicago. I take my hats off to them. Chris, I take my hats off to them. DMV, I take my hats off to you. But where's everybody else in the other 50 states?
Okay, well, that's, my thing is, I get what you're saying, but I'm saying that momentum has been slowed by the COVID, and I'm not saying that all chapters are created equal, but I have to give credit where it is due.
Oh, I do that too. No.
So
I'm not even talking about chapters, Angela. I'm not even talking about chapters. I'm talking about people in our community that you reach out to, and you're trying to educate them. You're trying to get them to meetings, and you're trying to get them involved, and nobody wants to move. Okay. So right now, this is a visual. This is a visual aid. We're dying. People need to see this, and they need to take it serious.
Right. Well, I know that we've got some lame chapters, but we've also got some chapters that are putting in serious work, and I don't want that to be lost.
Yeah, no. I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not talking about chapters. I'm talking about people who are in the community that aren't chapters, not a part of a chapter.
Understand, we also have to give people something to do. We also have to give people something to do. I didn't know how to do movement work, and I'm still learning. Mm-hmm. Please, if people are given something to do, it's just like at my church. I tell my leaders, don't charge folks for not doing anything if you've not given them a list of what you need done.
I've given a list.
And I'm saying that if you're still virtually having meetings and you're still ringing the alarm, you are putting in work to grow this movement. And it's a small thing, and I commend you for your effort. Let me work there and take a breath. No leadership since kicking Malcolm from Phoebe. Manira Bomani, thank you for being on the line. Systemic racism, my people. Institutionalized systemic racism. And the reason why we do need a voice, let me go back to my earlier point. We need an AOC out of Ayanna Pressley on that floor sounding the alarm for ADOX in the same way AOC goes for her people. Because my platform only has a small reach. Speaking of which, family, please go to YouTube. I'm working obviously to be live in all spaces. I need you to like, share, and subscribe. My Friends of ADOS TV channel over in that space. I need your help with that to make it grow, because I got 4 more shows in the pipeline, and you guys are the ones to help push it out with your support of the show. So please go to YouTube and do that for me. All of my shows are listed there and they're archived there. And pretty soon I will be up and running in all spaces. It's a slow process because I don't have money to pay anyone to teach me this. So I have to rely on the generosity of others to help me and I have to rely on my own mind, and I'm not a technological person. But anyway, great people, Phoebe. We can chew gum and walk at the same time. It's always about COVID and reparations. Absolutely, Phoebe. Reparations is that silent drumbeat. And I said that on my last week's show. It ain't going nowhere. COVID is not silencing that. And that's to my earlier point, why they want to annihilate us as a people is because of that reparations that they know they owe. They think that they can kill it.
Right.
By killing
they do think that.
It ain't going nowhere, family. It's not. So please take your supplements, build up your immune, because the next thing they're trying to do is vaccinate us. And
that's another thing.
We'll do another show on that. We got ways to protect against that vaccine that are under the law that we can exercise when they start coming for that shot. Let's see here, Phoebe. Okay. Manira says they're killing us. Phoebe says that is madness. Only nurses and doctors get hazard pay.
Yep.
It's too much. Oh my God, Phoebe said. There's no evidence. Okay, Isaiah Turner says there's no evidence of the virus being planted. There's enough of a conspiracy against ADOS already. We don't need to make up extras. Well, there's a lot of theories out here, but let me help you understand. If you go back to the annals, you will see that a Harvard professor was arrested by the FBI for colluding with China to create
for the vaccine
lab as they sit up here and blame it on bats. Now, I don't say that the bats aren't related. I say all of that stuff is nasty and can set up COVID-19, but understand when I tell you this. I believe COVID-19 is SARS 2.0. Just go and look at the symptoms of SARS and compare it to the symptoms of the COVID-19.
That's true.
COVID-19 is SARS by another name. Okay, and so I don't know that they're necessarily planting it on us, but I know that they're being neglectful when they don't address why we are the ones that are disproportionately dying.
That's true. And
when they see that, how much more are they willing to allow us to disproportionately die? That is why I fault the Democrats, because they should be sounding the alarm for our votes. But the reason why they're not is because we're awoke.
Well,
you know what time it is.
Asking for something in exchange.
Barack Obama's in here, no more. Bye Kamala Harris, bye Cory Booker. We're not playing that being kinfolk game no more. We want tangibles in exchange for our votes. And Biden don't have an agenda, any less of one for ADOX. So, anywho, that's not true. That is so true. It is a cover-up. Hey, Antonia, good work, sis. Thank you, Shauna, for
thank you.
Thank you, Martin, for being on the live. I'm about to finish these comments. Everyone's sending love to you. Martin, for chopping sugar cane. CARICOM. Thank you, Martin. It's CARICOM.
That's it, CARICOM.
CARICOM over in the Caribbean. If I lived there, I wouldn't be signing up for that. Neither should the Black immigrants be signing up for reparations, getting over here at 65 by choice. I love you, Black. I love you, strong immigrants. You know I got African friends and friends all over the Caribbean. This ain't no anti-immigrant rant.
No, it's not. It really isn't.
I am here for ADOX and ADOS, FBA, BF1, B1. That's who I'm riding for without apology. Anyway, Nathan Dennis says, great points. They won't speak to anyone who can articulate what you are.
That is so true.
It is on purpose. Of course, folks are writing me, and I love y'all. They want me to run for office. Do you know how well that was bowled over? All they gotta do is look through my television shows, and that is never happening. The Democrats don't want no one like me.
Right.
You will not have someone like me on that floor doing an AOC. Get all of this country together. They're not going to have it. So
exactly.
I these cases to ring the alarm to wake the people up. This is how I grow the movement. This is my contribution to this movement that I love. Okay.
Right.
Phoebe, as far as money, thank you, Nathan, for yes, you're absolutely right. Phoebe, as far as money, I feel they owe us 85K to 160K per
I
family
think
for
so too.
years, plus protection
Phoebe's right.
and democracy. Honey, yes, we're not even full citizens. We haven't been because they drug us over here and changed. Albani says, bring up, we need better promotion of ADOS to bring in all 45 plus million of us. We can't reach the masses one at a time. It'll take too long. We need a massive campaign of ADOS, and Sister Antonia is right. She's speaking on the ADOS reparations. Our people don't even know reparations is on the table. You're right.
Exactly. And thank you, Abadi. Thank you so much.
I agree. Absolutely, Shauna says to that. Phoebe says, we don't need to make us the experiments for a vaccine.
No.
We will not be.
Can I just speak on that real quick?
Yes.
Can I just?
And I'm going to bring on Dawood.
They're trying to mandate, force us to take a vaccine by scare tactics, whatever. But if you notice, all the pharmaceutical companies and labs are trying to rush to make the vaccine, but it takes like 3 to 5 years to do a vaccine. Even Bill Gates has a vaccine all of a sudden. So I'm not doing a vaccine. You know, I'm not doing all that stuff. I'm not going to be an experiment because of something that we had the patent for in the U.S., gave it to China, and it exploded, and they brought it back here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Coronavirus is here in the United States. We have the patent on it. You can do the research. It's not a conspiracy theorist.
That Trump did not restrict Europe from the travel ban. And that's
because he has business there.
That is why New York is dying and we are most impacted. Because they were able, you see the numbers in Italy. Now our numbers exceed theirs. And they've been able to freely come and go while he put restrictions on that ban on travel for everyone else. So know that this is all over the world, but we're the ones dying and no one wants to deal with cause.
Right.
But back for ADOS and our supporters. Go ahead, Antonia.
I just want to let everybody know that Dawn paged a hellified letter that that Angela's speaking about. I did a video with visual aids to support it. You can find me at hashtag ADOSNE, even though NE stands for New England. I talk to people all over the place. I just feel like the more the better. We need a team. Ted Hayes is like the major spokesperson for Black people or ADOS in the community. He has a direct link with the White House, the Capitol, and DC. He needs soldiers to back him. I'm saying we need soldiers. We can talk all we want to, and we can do video clips. We can just send out letters, whatever. But when it comes time for us to present ourselves, where are our soldiers? Where's the people to back us up? And that's what I'm looking for. Angela can get as many, you know what I'm saying, responses. But when she gets ready to present herself, where is her team? That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking for people to wake up, people to join forces. We have to join forces to present ourselves as a united front. Every other race does it, whether it be Jews, the Indians, you know what I'm saying, the Japanese, whether it be anybody from any other religion, the Catholics, whatever. Everybody joins forces. Black people or ADOS people in America are the only ones that don't join forces and fight for their cause since the civil rights movement. And what I'm going to say is our people were hoes. They were bitten by dogs. They were shot. They were killed to fight for our rights. And we're taking the lame way out by sitting back, not doing anything. And like Angela said, if you pass on the information through social media, that's a job. If you send emails, that's a job. But when you do nothing, I'm not understanding that. We're all quarantined. We can send out letters and emails and make phone calls. Everybody has that capability, and that's what we should be doing right now, supporting each other to get the word out and build up our numbers and our team.
I agree.
So again, it's Antonia Edwards. If you come to my personal page, I'm going to push you over to the political page. But the political page is ADOS NE, which is New England. So it's hashtag ADOS New England. If you ever need to email me or whatever, my email address is my name, Antonia, ANTONIA .Edwards@Yahoo. And let's do this. Let's get it together. Let's join forces. It's a state of emergency right now, people. It really is.
It absolutely is. All hands on deck. This is the part where everybody gets to partake in the movement. If you do nothing else, please support Antonia's page. Also, Please support the video from last week. I play it 2 to 3
Right.
times a day where I go through the letter with comments. Shout out to Don Page once again. It was a
Right,
lot
Don Page.
to give birth to that letter, and I drove her every step of the way. And I know I was a taskmaster, but we needed it as a people. We needed her brain power to really give birth to that, and it was a labor. But
She did a
she did
marvelous
that.
job. Marvelous.
I
And Andrew,
yes.
and Andrew's gonna put my video on here to back up, Dawn's letter and Angela's efforts or whatever. And then if you join my page, you can see that there as well too. But we're trying to get as many people awake and involved as possible. And Sean Odom, my hat's off to him. He's the one who put the video together in less than 8 hours. He has more videos he's doing. If you have any videos or anything that you want him to do to get your message out for your chapters or for your cause, send him an inbox of Sean, Sean, last name Odom. And he's a young guy who is just very talented. And I can't believe that he put the whole video and the music together in less than 8 hours. So let's support each other, Black businesses.
We have to support Black businesses. Also, Albadi Wingbush. If you can put a way in the chat for people to reach you for your services, please put that in there.
Yes.
We should go through ADOS to actually find people to do the things we need done as a first line before we shop with anyone else. Albadi, put your information, how they can reach you, and tell a little bit about your services in the chat. Thank you so much, Antonia. I'm going to
thank you,
Mike, because I'm getting a little feedback while I introduce Dawood. This show is already over an hour. What I may do is make this 2 shows so that I can get Dawood's whole time with him. So, Antonia, I'm going to bid you adieu on this. I'm going to stop this video.
Thank you.
And then I'm going to restart the video, family, so that we can have 2 shows in this space.
Okay.
And we can talk to Dawood. But I thank you, my deepest sympathy for your loss. I thank you for being a beautiful queen, sister.
Thank you.
In this movement. I thank you for all the energy you give to everything I ever ask of you.
You do. Thank you so much.
I thank you for sharing with my audience so that they can have a real handle of what's going on behind the scenes with this COVID and our people. I thank you for waking us up.
No problem. I thank you for allowing me to share my story. I mean, it's very personal, but it's not isolated. And that's why I want people to know exactly what's going on behind the scenes. And anything that I can do for anybody to help our people, I'm for that. I am so pro-Black, it's ridiculous. I mean, so if you need me for anything, inbox me, ask me a question, or anything that you need me to help out to do to better our situation, I'm 100% for that. I'm on the ground in the trenches with my boots to the ground, always. Always. So I thank everybody.
I love you, Black. I love you, strong, sis.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. So, family, I'm going to conclude this show with the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever ADOS, ADOX, and its allies are, God truly is, because you are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the living temple of the Spirit of the living God. I will sign off for now and stay tuned for round 2 with Dawood Giazin, who's going to talk with us more about the coronavirus and the things that the government is keeping from us and how it all ties back to ADOS. Plus, he's got an overcoming story about him and a family member who overcame COVID by resisting ventilation.
Right. Ventilation.
You must stay tuned, family. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Angela Nirvana signing off. Thank you, Antonia. God bless.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.